Welcome back to another episode of the Dot Line Podcast. I am your host, DJ Scotty Two Dotty, aka Ray Dot, and we are back again with another Wednesday Wisdom or Wisdom Wednesdays, however you want to call it, however you want to decipher it. This week, we got a very interesting topic to talk about: um, high standards with low expectations. And you may be like, make that make sense, but I will throughout this video. And before I continue on, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, going to try to upload as much as I possibly can. We're going to keep these um, Wisdom Wednesdays going as long as we possibly can. I'm trying to get more people to do interviews. It's a busy world that we live in, and it's hard to get people on the same schedule, people, doing different things, trying to figure out different things to facilitate their life and stuff of that nature, which is fine. But um, rather sooner than later, we will have more guests on the show so that we can move the season along. But in the meantime, we do have different things to talk about in the meantime. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful God put that on my heart to do these Wisdom Wednesdays. Definitely a tongue twisted pause. But yeah, let's get right into today's topic: high expectations. High standards, low expectations. Now, um, trying to figure out topics for today's video was a little bit of a challenge, but that's okay because it's just when you have so much wisdom, sometimes you kind of get caught up in what to kind of talk about or what to kind of touch on, because sometimes you don't want to oversaturate different topics. Fucking phone sits fucking still. Okay, cool. Sometimes you don't want to oversaturate different topics. You don't want to um talk about the same thing over and over and over again, but sometimes life kind of presents itself in a loop, So sometimes you do kind of just talk about what's bothering you or what's going on. But I narrowed it down to the high standards, low expectations. And what I mean by that is when you're self-aware, when you're ambitious, when you're goal oriented, when you put first things first, when you do certain things a certain way, you build a high level of expectation or a standard. But then you kind of start hitting these walls and pause. Hitting certain walls in a sense of just like, I don't know, financial wall, environmental wall, um, lack of confidence because of the first two walls that you hit, lack of knowledge. Maybe you don't have the type of knowledge that you thought that you had on a certain topic or a certain craft, or even lack of support. One person can only do so much before things kind of get out of hand. Think of any sports teams. Actually, not think of a sports team. It's a lyric by Fabulous where he says, "What's a star player to a team of all stars?" And sometimes you can just be as a star in your role. You can be dominant on your own, but when you face a multitude of problems or a multitude of issues, then it takes a toll on you. Whether it knocks you off course or it kind of um, rearrange the things that you prioritize. Things happen throughout life, and in today's era, it's a lot going on that we only know so much about, or they only tell us what they would like us to hear. So, um, the high standard approach, I'm not saying abandon that. Not at all. I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying just say, oh, don't hold yourself accountable or don't, expect highly of others. But in this day and age, and I said this on within one of my first few videos from last season, just about, you only know you. So you know what you bring to the table, night in, night out, day in, day out. But when you get to a point to where you're marrying or you're dating or you getting friends and this and that, their expectations or their standards are not yours. So I'm not saying lower your um your standard, but the expectation is not gonna, be, what you think it is. Because the expectation out of a lot of people I have and the stuff happens so quickly. I once revered so much about certain things or certain people, but I had to lower that because I have high standards for myself that others don't subscribe to, which is fine. Which is fine. It's with family, friends, sports teams, whatever you can think of. You get to a point to where it's not the same. Things are not what they seem, which is fine, which is that this comes with life, So in today's episode, I just wanted to talk about how to mitigate that, along with trying to help myself as well, because this is one of the most glaring insecurities that I have because I'm so driven with doing the things that I need to do. I'm so driven with making things flow in a certain way, but that is my high standard. And the low expectations of society in today's era, literally people are doing things outlandish just because that's the the standard of today's society. And it's just I don't want you to ever feel like an outcast to the people who do do wake up every day and show up for like they self or um have the right mentality um to make sure that their family is taken care of. But in this day and age, it's a lot of things that's going into this impacting your bottom line or impacting how you view things. Because I remember I was telling like my father, maybe like a few months ago, if you behind on like 4 or 5 bills now in this era, that's equivalent to being caught up with all of your bills like a decade ago. Like my standard when it comes to taking care of my family, friends, or just taking care of my bottom line. So that's all included. Whatever you can think of, from taking care of my child to my wife, bills, this and this third. It's very hard for me to allow things to just fall out of sort. It's very difficult for me to be like, okay, let's just not pay this bill for a whole month, or let's not do this for a whole month, or like I'm not used to that. I grew up around certain family members being okay with that, or doing certain shit a certain way so that they can just get so 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 like they can get a certain thing or get ahead, which is fine. Again, that's their standard and that's their expectations. And is this with me? I don't subscribe to that. Like it's like they have high expectation, low standard, and I have high standard, and now I'm subscribing to having low expectations for certain things because it's just how this world is turning. Is just people subscribe to just the utmost bullshit, shit that don't have no substance, shit that's a revolving door. Nothing has substance. That's like it's like substance. People forget what that means to have substance, to have things that um can stand the test of time. Truth stands the test of time. Um, Having discernment stands the test of time. Having morals and values of any kind stands the test of time. But when you get into an era where every people are you know posting things that and it's rapid, posting things that has no substance to it. Man, you want to be me or two man? Hmm. Sh- Say hey to all the people. Yeah, he always got to make a appearance on camera. This is my special guest for today's episode, my son Milo. All right, man. Okay, but yeah, people are posting things at a rapid pace as far as things that don't have substance as far as this what this person's doing, what that person doing. At one point it wasn't so pre- predominant. Um, but now it's predominant. It's every day something is being said, something is being done where people are trying to get ahead, thinking that they're getting ahead, but doing and saying stuff that's only trying to tear people down, only trying to make people feel less than human or less than who like they are. And it shouldn't it shouldn't be like that, but that is society. That is just the era that we live in. And I know with like me, with friends, family, with a lot of things, I had to lower my expectations because it would bring so much turmoil, so much trauma, so much drama, when a lot of people don't get it. To be I remember a wise man, shout out Eric Sanders. Um, a wise man once told me to be alive is to be aware. And again, having self-awareness, that's a double-edged sword if I ever seen one. To be able to discern for yourself and for others, it's a double-edged sword because now you have to make a decision for yourself and for the people around you. And in this era, is not a high level, it's not a high, circle of people who are like-minded. It's let's say it's a room of five people. It's only probably in this day and age, it's probably one person that is self-aware. The other is subscribed to, hey, what's this celebrity doing? What's this public figure doing? What's this politician doing? What's this influencer, doing? Versus like I took time to rationalize within myself to get better, to get to a point to where things can make sense for me and for others, and I can move my life along in a more productive way versus I have insecurities. I have things that I know I need to attend to, but hey, you see Bronny on his score at 2 points. Let me say he sucks and this is nepotism. Or Caitlin Clark didn't do so well. This is why you don't allow white women to play basketball. She should stay in the kitchen. You know, shit like that. I feel like we have we should have left that era behind because in this day and age, anytime you have anything that you're doing that you love, that you're passionate about, the expectation is so low as far as people um thinking highly of you. At the expectation is for you to fail. There is no high expectation as far as holding you up to a higher level so that you can succeed. I'm gonna hold you to the fire at all times because my expectation is so low of myself. I'm gonna project how I feel onto others. So I just feel like we're in that era where that's the it thing. That's what is just so just popular. That's what's popping. That's what's lit. That's what's gonna get people on. And it's not. It's just come, things come and go. Waves come and go. People's mentality is so just or this people's mentality and the things that they focus on change by the day. Their attention span. I'm trying to figure out the word. Their attention span is so limited to all and everything that they subscribe themselves to. And I just want you to take time to really like reflect after like this video of your how you view things as far as this if you are a go-getter and you have people around you, whether it be family members, whether it be whoever, coworkers, whoever. And when you enter the room, it's like a weight lifted off of others, but the weight shifted to you. Or if you go to a place where your productivity is so high that I'm gonna still pay you the same pay as everybody else. Your productivity is so much better than others. This is something that you have to look at. It's something that you got to pay attention to. Pay attention to that. And I feel like you can go about this one or two ways. First way is accepting things that you can't change. And what I mean by that, a lot of people may not agree with me on this. It's certain things that you can't change. You can't change people, places, and things. You can't make people subscribe to your way of thinking and vice versa. So find peace in it. Find peace knowing and again, this may sound outlandish. This may sound like a settled job or this and third, but be okay with being I, I guess I wouldn't say manipulated, but be okay with being who you are to people. Like if people feel like you are the hardest worker and we're gonna work you the hardest all the time, that's just something that I feel like speaking for like myself, it has always followed me. Always followed me. I don't care what job I have worked, where I have been at in life, I always get the tough cover. Always get the toughest assignment. And for the longest, I resented that. I'm like, yo, like, why don't nobody hustle like me? Why don't nobody put forth effort like me? Why don't nobody go to the floor like me? Because I'm assigned that role, you know? Like if you think of like a band, everybody got they time to shine. Everybody has to be in sync. And what makes the environment that I am in flow is me putting forth the utmost effort, while others may not put forth enough effort. Others may, be on the neutral ground, and others may somewhat, be on like my level. But I have learned to accept that. That's my approach to like dealing with this type of environment, this type of era that we are in, because nothing is going to change if you just sit here and marinate. And well, like I say this, I'm talking mainly to like myself. Sitting here and marinate on things that you can't change. Sit here and marinate on the fact that, man, back in such and such time, this was this was that, and that was this. I'm a history buff, and I love to watch historical videos and documentaries. That time is over. It's in the books. It's always good to learn about the past. That's why I feel like I love history videos so much, to learn how we got to where we're at. But at the same time, we're at where we're at, and things are how they are, and it is what the fuck it is. And it has to be a collective effort to change those type of expectations, make them more valuable, a more valuable society, a more valuable way of thinking. And if you continue to be like, okay, yeah, back in my day, or I can remember, you're gonna sound, even though you may have a point, two things can be true at the same time. Can 1,000% be on point, but people can pick and choose if they can subscribe to, like, damn, yeah, that's crazy, bro, and continue doing what the fuck they doing, whatever they feel is best. So I'm not saying don't have high expectations or high standards. Um, but the expectation should be what the fuck it is. You should expect people to just be who the fuck they are. You can't sit here and be like, oh man, they wasn't raised right. That may be true, but however, we're in real time. So what can you do in real time? Not much, but control how you react to what's happening in real time. And the second way, I wouldn't recommend this approach because I feel like this is going to lead to a lot of issues and a lot of self hate. Is resist it or try to battle it every day, like try to rationalize with it every day. And this is something that, speaking from experience, like no other. Because, and I mentioned this definitely in my first season, how I even stumbled across even wanting to make a podcast. Because I spend a lot of my time while I'm working, because I'm working by myself pretty much outside of an hour of my day. Um, so I work 10 hours, so 9 hours straight, I'm working by myself. It's just me. So I have a lot of time to think. So, that's how the podcast came about, and these topics and this and third. And I rationalize so much shit because I'm a rational thinker in an irrational ass world. So it's very difficult at times to see things so irrational, but making so much progress. And I'm battling it. I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. Nah, like make that make sense. How the fuck this happened? And well, like, because in this era, that's viewed as like hate. And like I said, two things can be true at the same time. I'm not necessarily hating, because anything that you can get, I can get. That's motivation. No matter how you get it, anything that you can attain, so can I. But it's just like I said, when you're meeting so much restriction by doing the right by doing it the right way, that's where the resentment, that's where the battleground really take its form, because you're trying to go up against a juggernaut by yourself. You're trying to go up against a Goliath by yourself with no tools. You don't got no slingshot like David. You don't got no arsenal. It's literally just your your mind and the things, and you got your mind, and then you got your life experiences. So you got your real time present day way of thinking, and then you got your past experience trying to, you trying to kind of add to new situations. So it can be a balance of outdated and dated data and stuff like that. But at the same time, is this it gets to a point where you just feel so overwhelmed because you're moving in a direction that is just, it takes a lot daily. It takes a lot daily to just maintain. Especially when you're in this fight by yourself. And that's why I feel as if being uniform with as much as you possibly can is extremely important. Being uniform with yourself is number one. Number one. But out of doubt, I will always preach that as much as I possibly can on this platform, being one with oneself is very vital to combating any issues that you face day in, day out. But on like this topic, kind of wrap things up. It's cool to have high standards, for yourself. It's cool. That's extremely awesome, as you should. But don't expect, hey, Mister, there he is. Almost done talking again, man. Yeah. I love I love pussy on me, but not not while I'm working. But seriously though, um, is there certain things where um made me lose my fucking train of thought, but just in the sense of doing what you need to do to better yourself. Don't be shocked, don't be overwhelmed, don't be mad, don't be discouraged that others don't have the same standards that you have. Don't be upset if people don't understand logic. Don't be upset if people have imbalance mentally, because again, you don't know their full life experiences. You only know a certain aspect of who they are. Because like I said in my first season, you never really know nobody but yourself. You would never know nobody but yourself. I don't know every single detail, every single life event of my wife. I only know what she has told me and what we have experienced together. Same thing with anybody that you will ever meet. You don't even know your parents like you think you do. You don't never know nothing but yourself. So you have to factor that in. And this is something that if you're gonna take nothing else from this video or from this podcast, definitely take that and see how life looks a lot different, like immediately, um, with everything that like you do. Because if you get to a place and space to where you're trying to make others into like your mini me, or um create different narratives for other people that's not going to subscribe to that way of thinking or doing, you're going to have a lot of frustration in your life. And I'm speaking to myself, I'm speaking from experience, because nobody wants to go through life saying, why aren't you following simple instructions? What's simple for you may not be simple for others. I don't care how simplistic it is. It can be, hey, what's one plus one? People people don't have that type of rationalization within themselves, and that's okay. Hold yourself to high standards. Hold self accountable. Hold self to whatever you feel is best. But to project that same standard upon others in a society where the expectation is, if you can just TikTok, if you can just go viral, if you can just tear other people down, you lit, you laugh, you rich, you paid, you don't never gotta work hard in your day, you know, understand what the expectations is of today's society. So again, you can only control you, you can only be you, you can only really impact yourself in the way that you want things to like be. So don't, I would highly recommend people just take this and take it to heart, because it's just, I don't like feeling like I'm not never doing enough. That's a very empty feeling. That's a feeling that, next to being terminally ill and probably transitioning, probably, or just from what people say, I guess, going off of hearsay, probably the worst two feelings you can feel, and being empty or not doing it, or feeling like you're not doing enough, probably is right behind those things. So I wouldn't wish that on like nobody. So I know with like me moving forward in my life, no matter what goes on, no matter what it looked like, no matter what it feel like, pause, I have to understand that giving the right tools, I know how to make things work in the right way. Given anything in its proper context, given time to do things, given the tools to do it, given the opportunity to do it, is going to, it's like things are going to present itself in this proper presentation. But if it's not being given, only thing I can do is work with what's being given versus me sitting here saying, man, I don't make enough money, but I bust my ass and I'm behind on bills. But imagine if you was in a situation where you worked as hard, but you got what you needed from your labor. You know things wouldn't be how they are. You know that. You know that. And that's something that I'm speaking to me when I'm saying this. Um, you know things wouldn't be how they are right now. You you know it. So it's not on you fully to be so caught up in what you don't have. As long as you're working towards something every single day, things are going to form itself in a way to where, oh, okay, I get it now. Like I said last season, it would all make sense in the end. But that's all that I have for you guys today. I definitely hope something was said on today's episode to kind of help you deal with, if you are a self-driven person, if you are a person who works hard, if you are a person that wants to take care of what you need to take care of and move along your family. Um, it's cool to have that high expectations or that high standard for yourself, but also factor in we live in an era with low, very, very, very low expectations. So hold yourself accountable and leave it at that. Even in your camp, you can't really hold everybody accountable to the same things that you account for because people don't account like you. So be kind to yourself, be well with oneself, be assembled within oneself, and things are going to take a much greater shape. And understand, if you don't have the proper tools and you still, even if you fucking a year behind on bills, look at your situation, look at everything around you. Are you given the proper tools? Are you given the proper tools? Are you given the proper pay? Are you given the proper everything that's needed so things can be taken care of? Put your life in perspective with your high standards and the expectations that society has, and what people are subscribing and what things are how they are. So I leave you guys with that wisdom for this Wednesday. Again, like, share, subscribe. We're going to continue to make these videos, continue to do the best that we can with the material that's being given. So I hope something was said on today that can help you get through your week. And again, like, share, subscribe, you know, um, get the podcast rolling, send it to a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, whoever. But yeah, until next time, this is DJ Scotty 2 Dotty, aka Ray Dot, signing off. Peace.